For my Watchmen scene analysis, I've chosen the comedian's funeral. The scene begins roughly about 40 minutes into the movie. And first of all, we have a shot of Edgar Jacobi, aka Moloch, as he's spectating the funeral of Edward Morgan Blake, the comedian, from a distance without actually taking part in it. This scene produces a very gloomy, atmospheric setting with gravestones all in a row and rain pouring down on the characters. It is as if we are at the funeral and watching it as we are placed in a standing position behind Moloch. Um, as we see Moloch for the first time in this sequence, he's a very mysterious figure because we're seeing the back of him and not his face. We notice he has distinguishing features like his pointy ears that reveals his identity as Moloch. He wears a dark overcoat with his collar up, which suggests he doesn't want to be seen. And again, he also has a dark hat to make him unrecognizable. His gray hair tells us right away that he's an aging character with a long history. Then we cut to Dan, aka Night Owl, in a close-up. He wears black as the rest of the guys, but unlike the rest of the attending Watchmen members, he has no cover for the rain. The government figures have hats on, and Adrian has an umbrella, and John is sheltered by his powers. And this could symbolize the fact that Night Owl is the only one who's really affected by the comedian's death, or at least the one who's most affected, since he more than the other guys saw him as a friend, perhaps. This close-up also reveals his sadness to underline this even further. And also the slow momentum of the many close-ups of Night Owl indicates that we are about to move into a flashback sequence of the comedian. And then we move into this flashback. These two shots reveals that this scene takes place in New York, of course, with New York saying right there on the poster. And we are taken by surprise as the poster is being destroyed by a baseball bat, which kind of tells us that something violent is going to happen. Then the next scene, it becomes clear to us that we are watching a riot in New York. We see people holding banners saying badges, not masks, and no vigilantes, which strongly indicates the fact that these people want the policemen to ensure order in the city and not the watchmen. Then we have a picture or shot at the comedian. Um, in this scene, where he and Night Owl tries to suppress the rioting in New York, we see the comedian kind of losing it and beginning to fire off what we are assuming are rubber bullets at the rioters. This showcases how unhinged a character the comedian is. Mhm. And there's this shot of Night Owl kind of trying to hold back the comedian as he fires at civilians. And this kind of tells us something about their relationship. That the comedian is kind of the unhinged character, and Night Owl is probably the more responsible character of the two, and kind of the one who's always tries to hold back the comedian. hmm And we have this shot of the comedian, and it's a very symbolic shot as we in the background see the American flag and some graffiti that spells "Who watches the Watchmen." And this tells a lot about the setting and what kind of society we're placed in, because it makes the question that if we have these heroes watching us, then who's watching them? Oops. And we have this photo. This is Night Owl holding the badge, the smiley badge, um, that belonged to the comedian before throwing it into into his grave. This is just very symbolic for the comedian, what kind of character he was, as he was a character who saw the world uh, as this practical joke and kind of didn't think that they could make a difference. And we have another close-up of Night Owl. This kind of shows again a lot of emotions since it's a very bright close-up. We see water dribbling from his glasses, which could also symbolize just tears, um, which yeah showcases his sadness and his emotions. We have this shot of him kind of throwing the badge into the grave. When he does this in the film, the badge kind of says like a clanging sound when he throws it, and this just emphasizes and underlines the fact that this little piece of metal is actually of great importance in understanding who the comedian was. We have a almost like a closure shot of the scene where they were all walking away from the funeral, and we have just this cemetery in big letters written over the gate. This could also symbolize some kind of maybe this is really the end for the story, and maybe things will just go downwards, not from now on. Yeah. Oh, and also we see all the Watchmen members and um, the soldiers walking away from the funeral, but we see a mysterious character just walking another way here in the background, and that character seems to be Moloch. And in this shot, we see him paying his respects to the comedian and placing flowers at his grave. And this may say more about Moloch than it actually says about the comedian, but it also showcases the comedian as a guy who was actually respected, since Moloch places flowers and also draws a cross on his chest. Then the scene comes to a closure as we see Moloch walking away, um, and uh, and uh, and a mysterious character until now standing here with a banner. And this guy is of course Rorschach, which explains the next scene in the movie where Rorschach he searches for Moloch, questioning him why he was at the comedian's funeral. So this kind of explains to us, if we've seen the movie before, why he actually knew that. Yeah, that was it.